All right, so move on to the next segment. I'll be sharing I'll be sharing my list of most impactful free agent signings in sports history. So these following signings are, all the major sports, four major sports in the United States are eligible for this segment. That being the NFL, NBA, MLB, and NHL. So all four of those respective sports are eligible for this segment. But these are, in my opinion, the most impactful offseason signings in sports history. So, starting off with number one, Peyton Manning signing with the Denver Broncos back in 2012. Now, the former first overall pick back in the 1998 NFL Draft, Peyton Manning was selected by the Indianapolis Colts and was released by the Colts back in 2012 before that offseason happened, and ended up being the end of an era with the Indianapolis Colts. Peyton Manning suffered a career-threatening injury back in the 2011 NFL season, which sidelined him the entire NFL season. The Colts only won 2 games, which they were in a tight boat they were in a tight pickle at that time. They didn't know which way to go. They didn't know Peyton Manning was ever going to be the same, so I get it. And they went on to draft Andrew Luck. But Peyton Manning signing with the Denver Broncos was so significant because he helped the Broncos win a Super Bowl before he retired. He helped them become a powerhouse team in the AFC, put together one of the greatest MVP seasons of all time back in 2013 when he had that high-powered offense of Wes Welker, Eric Dickerson, Demaryius Thomas. The list goes on and on of so many offensive weapons that he had that year, but I have to say that was, in my opinion, one of the most impactful offseason signings in sports history. Because he also kicked Tim Tebow to the curb when Tim Tebow looked like he could have been the guy in Denver after he helped them win a playoff game the previous year, defeating the Pittsburgh Steelers in the wild card game. But that's why I said that timing at that particular time, it was such an impactful signing, because you don't really see guys like that hit the market, especially all-time great like Peyton Manning. So that has to be on my list. Now, next one on my list has to be Drew Brees signing with the New Orleans Saints back in 2006. Now, Drew Brees was, once upon a time when he was with the San Diego Chargers, Drew Brees was replaced by Philip Rivers as their franchise quarterback and was replaced by the team, which set up for Drew Brees being a free agent back in 2006. But when Drew Brees signed with the New Orleans Saints, he was there for the dark days and the dark times for New Orleans, as everything that they were going through at that time. Everybody knows the well-documented history that they went through. But Drew Brees stayed with the town, helped them rise from the ground up, and helped build something special in New Orleans. Him and Sean Payton helped the Saints won their first Super Bowl and their only Super Bowl in franchise history, put together a Hall of Fame career in New Orleans, helped the Saints stay afloat, a contending team year in and year out in the NFC, a dominant team in the NFC South for years. Drew Brees was putting up MVP caliber numbers for years and years with some high-powered offenses in New Orleans over the years. Reggie Bush, Michael Thomas, Jimmy Graham. The list goes on and on at how many great players Drew Brees has elevated offensively in his time with the New Orleans Saints. And that signing right there has to be an impactful one, because what if he was never replaced by Philip Rivers to be the franchise guy with the Chargers? Would the Chargers finally have won their first Super Bowl? Because they still haven't. That's actually also a big what if. Because what if Drew Brees was the Chargers guy? Not taking anything away from prime Philip Rivers, who had the Chargers remaining a top-tier team year in and year out. But he was never able to ascend them to the next level and get them to a Super Bowl. So when you think about that, that has to go down as a big what if. What if Drew Brees never left the Chargers? But let's keep it rolling. Now, next one on my list and impactful was when Shaquille O'Neal signed with the Los Angeles Lakers in the 1999 offseason. Now, after Shaq left the Orlando Magic in 1999 when he hit free agency and signed with the Los Angeles Lakers, there was another chapter that was written in the historic franchise books for the Los Angeles Lakers. Shaq was the missing piece to that puzzle for that team. And Shaq and Kobe went on to become one of the greatest duos in NBA history, going on to with a three-peat with Phil Jackson coaching in LA. And Shaq went on to win his only MVP award in the black and purple uniform. Purple and gold uniform, excuse me. He also went on to become a 3-time NBA Finals MVP. So his time and the legacy that he left behind with the Lakers obviously will always be remembered. Won 3 out of 4 of his rings in LA. And that has to go down as a huge, impactful offseason signing in sports history. Now, next one is Deion Sanders signing with the Dallas Cowboys. So as you guys see in the poster in the back, I am a Cowboys fan. But Deion Sanders, fresh off of arguably the best year of his NFL career, when he won a Super Bowl with the San Francisco 49ers, when he won Defensive Player of the Year that year with the San Francisco 49ers, you would have thought Deion Sanders, it was a no-brainer for him to re-sign and go back to the Bay Area and still play for the 49ers. That wasn't the case. Deion Sanders went ahead and signed with the Dallas Cowboys, helping the Dallas Cowboys improve their stock, improve their game. And Deion Sanders was a part of the Dallas Cowboys dynasty. The reason why they got the nickname America's Team, when he helped Troy Aikman, Edmund Smith, Michael Irvin, Jerry Jones dominating the NFL. And he actually won another Super Bowl with the Dallas, helped that trio win another Super Bowl in Dallas. Now, obviously, it's well documented that Deion Sanders won his 2 Super Bowl rings with the 49ers and the Cowboys. But that has to go down as a big what if, because I feel like Deion Sanders going there and playing there for 4 to 5 years is very impactful, because what if he stayed in San Francisco? Would the Dallas Cowboys have 5 Super Bowls, or would they have 4? That has to go down as a big what if as well, but definitely impactful sports signing in sports history. Last but not least, this one will always be impactful. LeBron James signing with the Miami Heat in 2010. I'm sorry, that has to be one of the most impactful signings in sports history. The decision will always go down as one of the craziest, one of the most bizarre times in sports segments in sports history. I mean, they had an entire ESPN special this summer of 2010 for LeBron James to see where he would go next. You had fans all across the country lining up in bars, having drinks. I'll use a water bottle, having drinks, celebrating to where LeBron would go next, or having a piss contest of who was pissed off more in a local bar. As I digress, man, the big three was formed of LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh, and it changed the impact of it changed the landscape of the NBA forever, because that's, in my opinion, that's when the super teams era really began in the NBA, because of the LeBron James decision. And don't get me wrong, me and being a Miami Heat fan, those 4 years were spectacular when LeBron, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh played there. 4 NBA Finals appearances, 2 championships, and that was the best years, in my opinion, of LeBron James' career, being a two-way player. I mean, LeBron's not even known for being a defensive player, but the years in Miami, he was special on both ends of the court, and I think that's the best side of LeBron James we ever seen defensively when he was playing with the Miami Heat. But that decision, seriously, was one of the most impactful in sports history. No ifs or doubts about it. And it's still talked to this day how crazy the decision truly was for LeBron James. But that is my personal list of the most impactful sports signings in sports history.